You might not believe this, but I bought another broken Xbox One controller, but this time it's a Series 1 Elite. The guy I bought it from said he bought it broken and then tried to replace the analog stick, but in the process broke it even more. Before we take it apart, let's turn it on and see what we're working with. While testing, you can see that the right stick shoots right up and doesn't move far from there. This leads me to believe that there's a broken edge or two. The person who gave it a solid attempt said the original problem was just a broken stick button, and after he replaced the stick, it just stopped working altogether. So it looks pretty bad. You can see cold solder joints and even some melted plastic from not knowing where your soldering iron is. But all in all, he did give it a solid attempt, and that's really all that matters when you're first starting out with electronic repair. So let's go ahead and remove the two pots from the stick and see what we're working with. Now that the board is all cleaned up, we can see the damage that's left over. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 pads that are damaged on the bottom. These same pads are damaged up top as well, as you'll see in a second. So my guess is he removed the potentiometers first, and he didn't let the solder for these two joints right here to completely flow, and he just ripped the component through, which damaged the feed through as well as the trace. My guess is he did that for these ones over here as well. Or he could have tried using solder wick, but was aggressive with it and ripped them up that way. It doesn't take too much heat to rip up an etch. And another thing is he could have done it, he could have tried adding solder to it in a very aggressive manner. Now he did say he bought an iron off of Amazon, so that leads, he bought an iron off Amazon to repair this controller specifically, so that leads me to believe he is pretty new to this. So I'm not gonna give him any kind of crap for that, because he did try it, and that's all you can really do with electronics repair. You just got to give it a solid attempt and grow from there. Because when I first started, my stuff looked like this as well. It was terrible, but you learn from your mistakes, you learn what not to do next time, and I really hope this guy continues and tries to better his craft. But all that being said, there is damage left over, and we can rework that. So we have this pin right here for the potentiometer. This is the wiper pin. It goes to this trace right here, and as you can see, there is almost nothing left of it. We just have this little piece of copper that's dangling inside of it, so it could have been connected, but my guess is it definitely wasn't. potential is there for solder to be on top of it, just touching it to make some sort of a contact. This one will be pretty easy to repair. We have this pad right here, which is the positive for the potentiometer. That is bad. It's ran in parallel with this one, which is also bad. We have just the trace going into a dark hole, no connection from top or bottom, and the wiper for the potentiometer is bad as well. Now we also have a tactile switch over here. This is the thumbstick that you click in. We have a bad pad right here, but I'm not going to repair that simply because this pin and this pin are ran in parallel, and as long as one of them is working, the tactile switch will function as it should. So let's go ahead and look at the top of the board. So this is the top. I apologize for how bright it is. It's the only way I can show off the damage without making you guys squint or anything. It's very bright, so I apologize there. As you can see, this pad right here for one of the wipers is damaged. There's nothing connected to it, so it was just a pin going straight through with solder on top. This pad and this pad are ran in parallel. This is for the positive voltage for both potentiometers. And you can't really tell by looking at this one, but this is also broken. This etch going to this pad that's left over. There's no connectivity going to it. And as you can see over here, this right here is just lifting up, so there's no connection for that either. And this is an etch that goes to the bottom of the board. So it depends on one of these being solid to get that signal to the bottom, and they're both not. So we'll have to repair that. The wiper for it is also damaged, and the grounds look somewhat okay. They'll work as they should. There's no worry there. But as you can see, we have components right here. Now this is where the Elite controller and some other boards get a little weird. They have the connections for the potentiometers going up and down directly after the analog stick. So this could have been a lot worse. You could have knocked these components off, but we'll have to rework these components into the connection for this wiper and also into the connection for these two components to the positive of this potentiometer. So the rework should be somewhat straightforward, so let's go ahead and get that started. I wanted to use what's left of the top etches to solder the repair wire to, but it's so overheated it could be pulled up with no effort, so I'm going to decide against this. In order to reconnect the top to the bottom, I had to solder wire to the top components and feed it through the hole to finish the bottom connections. The green solder mask can be removed by scraping it away or sanding it down. After this is done, you can expose copper which can be used to solder to. I like soldering to the etches when possible to avoid long wire jumps. All that's left to do now is clean it up and see if it works. So it works. Now what? As a way to thank you guys for the 2,000 subscribers we just passed, I want to give this away to one lucky commenter. Simply subscribe and leave a comment on this video, and once it hits 20 comments, I will pick a random winner to receive this controller. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for the 2K, and I will see you next time.